back at the FIBA U18 Americas Championship live from the Meridian Center in St. Catharines, Ontario. Jason Tom here alongside Amy Ottoberg as Team Canada looks to finish off their group phase, a perfect 3-0, but they are in tough against the also perfect thus far group from Chile.
That's right, and Chile played probably one of the most exciting fourth quarters of the tournament yesterday against a very good Argentina team. They dropped the game, but have to feel at least a little bit strong and ready to come out hard tonight, where Canada had a nice convincing win yesterday against Ecuador. Not one player played more than 22 minutes. So on the flip side, they also have to be ready to come out. Those legs are feeling pretty fresh on day 3.
Chile, it's just their second FIBA U18 Americas tournament berth. They won their first ever FIBA Under-17 South America Championship last year as they beat Argentina. So they are going to be amped up and ready to go against the host Team Canada, who've had a nice little break since playing yesterday morning, now playing the late game here tonight.
And of course, obviously being the home team, having the luxury of the crowd behind them. Yesterday, it was school day. It was a morning game, like you said, packed with screaming kids, which was always fun for everyone, other than the people trying to work. And then tonight, of course, another nice crowd on Tuesday evening, the locals getting out and enjoying this Canadian team.
10 players averaging 10 minutes or more on Team Canada, led by Emmanuel Miller, who has been outstanding for this team, averaging 18.5 points per game and 7 rebounds per game. And he's seeing some recruitment pick up right now because of how well he has played. But Canada needs to guard against a bit of a letdown here as both teams head into an off day tomorrow.
The last game of the group, you want to definitely finish strong.
Number 7, Tyrese Samuel. Number 8, Jacoby. Number 9, Addison Patterson. Number 10, Lawson. Number 11, the captain, Andrew. Number 12, Giovanni Scott. Number 13, Connor. Number 14, Chile and Number 15, Charles Bediako.
The Bediako brothers from nearby Ridley College have a large cheering section here, playing just down the road from where they play their prep school ball. And now we have the national anthems coming up.
And the teams will now follow international basketball protocol by
Team
receiving
Canada's
gifts and shaking
coaching
hands
staff
at center
as
court.
the two teams come together to exchange gifts. Chile with a large contingent here support their team as well. The two teams now have another 3+ minutes to get their legs underneath them. As they mentioned, both these teams sitting at 2-0 in the group stage. The crossover will occur on Thursday as we get into the quarters, semis, and finals.
You already mentioned Chile qualified with a gold. Their first ever title. They earned their spot here. They earned the right to be there. And even though they're coming against the host, you see the roster there from Canada, they're not going to show up intimidated.
As Addison Patterson stealing the show yesterday morning with his own personal 13-0 run, and he finds himself in the starting lineup. Once again, Canada going with their AAA of Addison, AJ, and Andrew to go along with Emmanuel Miller and Jaden Bediako. Again, Emmanuel Miller has just been everything for this squad. Andrew Nemhard was a star in the first game. And now taking a look at Chile, led by Franco Lara. They've had a number of different players, and I mean, Maxwell Lorca is also a player I'm going to be looking at, averaged 14 and almost 13 at the South America Championship, and I know you like a couple of guys on this squad as well.
Yeah, that was the main one right there. And, well, he's born in North Carolina, but his dad's from Chile and his mom's American. So he's been highly recruited by the likes of Baylor, Cal, Columbia, UConn, big name. So you're going to be looking at him. I think Canada's going to be looking at him because he's probably the first guy on the scouting report, and look for them to slow him down right off the tip.
He won a NIPSAC title with Northfield Mount Hermon High School down in New England, one of the best prep leagues in the United States.
In game one, 20 points, 15 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Game two is my favorite, that Argentina game where I said it came down to the fourth quarter and a couple possessions. It was an exciting game. Maxwell, 17 points, 11 rebounds, 6 blocks. He's going to get up and he's going to protect that rim as best as possible, which might fluster Canada a bit because they're not the biggest team inside.
I'm curious if some of the Team Canada guys got on the phone with U19 world champion Noah Kirkwood, who I'm guessing played with Maxwell Lorca down at Northfield Mount Hermon High School, because Noah Kirkwood went down there this year for his 5th year. I wonder if they got a little scouting report from their fellow countrymen.
Oh, I'm sure they did. And you take a look at, I'm so excited about this, Jason. The officials are wearing GoPros strapped on their chest, and we were playing around with it this morning. You should see some of the angles on inbounds passes. It is a completely different look, and so we're going to be excited to show everyone around the world tuning in some of those tonight.
FIBA continues to innovate when it comes to basketball coverage in the world, as the starting 5 for Canada comes out onto the floor. Jaden Bediako getting some last-minute instructions from Dave Smart. Emmanuel Miller talking to Jamie McNeely, and it's interesting that Canada's split up their team to their assistant coaches, who are all responsible for 4 players, to make sure that they're all filling their roles. At the end of each practice, they have a conversation.
Well, teamwork makes the dream work, and it's not just the 12 guys on the court. Coaching staffs, they got to click too, and they certainly have. They all have their own pedigree and looking for the perfect storm and going for the gold.
Rubio comes away with it right off the start, and a stick-back jam and a little primal roar from the big man, Maxwell Lorca Lloyd, but can't answer.
Well, we talk about setting the tone all the time. And It has been set from Chile.
Size. Pimentel gets it back down low. Rubio going right to the paint in the early going is Chile.
2 buckets right at the rim. Again, Canada's not the biggest. Chile almost looks like they have a bit more size inside. That's going to be a look for them tonight.
Patterson to the baseline, and it's sent back. Lorca Lloyd making an impact in the early going.
He's a special guy. Again, rim protector. That's the only thing you can think of. He's consistently blocking shots.
Addison Patterson couldn't finish it. Bediako trying to clean up the mess down low, can't get it to go.
And Lorca, you just see him rip that ball. I mean, he is coming in with some serious attitude.
You want to talk about making an impact, Rubio, but getting back the other way. Patterson, no good. AJ Lawson saves it. Nembhard.
Yeah, and that's where the ball needs to go. A little bit scramble from Canada, look a little bit out of sorts. Get the ball to Nembhard. He is the biggest calming factor for his team.
AJ Lawson, no good. Patterson active on the glass. Travel call. We'd like to see him kick it back out at that point.
Dave Smart, really animated on the bench. He's not happy with the start that his team's come out with. They're going to set up some full court pressure, really try to get under Chile. They only have 8 seconds to advance the ball, and then they don't want to get into any kind of offense smoothly.
Rubio. Size. AJ Lawson getting after it on defense, launches. That's the way to get the momentum on your side. A shot clock violation always helps.
Well, when Canada's struggling to score, I can almost guarantee they are going to dig deep and play a little harder on defense because of Dave Smart and his philosophies.
Patterson picks up his dribble. Emmanuel Miller comes there to help him out. That's what Emmanuel Miller does. He's the glue guy on this squad. Rubio, guarded by Miller. Varela, size. Pimentel gets it down low. Rubio loses it. Lawson tripped up. A little sloppy in the early going for Canada. Chile looking to capitalize. 3-on-1. Could have been steps, no call. Bediako gets it to AJ Lawson, keeps it himself. Canada trying to gang rebound. Patterson gets it out to Nembhard to the cooler. But Nembhard can't get that one to go. Gets it back. Probing the lane.
Yeah, he carried the ball. His hand came underneath it. Canada missing about 3 or 4 right at the rim right now and really scrambled. You see Dave Smart trying to just calm everyone down and say, hey, play good defense and the rest will take care of himself.
Side. Patterson with yet another rebound. The just turned 17-year-old Addison Patterson gets it to Nembhard, and he cashes from range.
Well, that's way too easy for Nembhard. If you're Chile, I mean, he's shown in the first 2 games, if not any other film they had before coming into this, that's a consistent shot for him. You see the comfort in the release.
Pimentel. He gets cut off. Varela. Beat the shot clock, but can't get it to drop. Patterson pushing back the other way for Canada. He gets it knocked away. Numbers. Kick ball. Stop that transition game.
Bounce pass in traffic in the open court's dangerous. That one had to fly maybe a little bit through the air. That's a tough pass to make. But I like the intensity that Chile's came out and ran with. And Franco Lara has to be at least proud of that. They've come out not intimidated. Canada, who, even though it's the home court, they have shown no fear from the opening tip.
Joel Brown and Tyrese Samuel, the first two off the bench for Canada. Banking it in, Maxwell Lorca Lloyd. Miller no good, Samuel tipping it back in. That length is gonna help Canada.
Canada went small quick with that substitution, Samuel for Bediako. You see him getting to the rim in nice hands as well.
And Joel Brown, I have not seen a screen that he can't get around. Cross-court pass, Miller right up on him. Canada getting after it on defense right now. Andrew Nembhard is that guy.
Same spot, same rhythm type shot. There was a white jersey there, but that's still uncontested if you ask me. Hands aren't up. It's pretty to watch for everyone but Chile, I would say.
Oh, A.J. Lawson. You're not going to want to jump with him. Two-handed slam, but A.J. Lawson landed hard on the back of his head. Always a danger when you go up with two hands like that. He jumps right back up. I think A.J. Lawson's going to...
He jumps up, but they still might want to check him. I mean, hey, you can't be casual with the ball, and you look, he's gearing up right here. Look at that, boom, delivers, but ouch, that's just a horrible fall. You heard the crowd, they saw it on the big screen, and that's a great decision to get him out of the game and just give him a second to take a breather, maybe have medical staff check him out.
I've seen that so many times when you go up with two hands in transition like that. It's funny, AJ was thinking of chopping off all that hair at one point. I think that might have saved him some pretty major injury right there. Helped cushion his fall. Nembhard, nice look to Samuel. Very nice finish from Tyrese Samuel. Hauling it in and finishing. He stayed calm under pressure there. Rubio has Jacoby Neath up in his grill. Neath cuts him off. Rubio still gets to the glass, can't finish, but the big man's there to clean up the mess.
Yeah, Rubio's the power game. He's going into the bodies. And Lorca's the finesse. He's finishing off strong, and they're a nice team inside.
Nice move by Size. He got Miller to bite on the other end. Neath. Cross court to Brown. Back out top. Nembhard. Neath. Great ball movement from Canada. Joel Brown, though, gets it blocked. Gets it right back. Fires it. That's the guy you want. Nembhard misses for the first time today. Canada up 4. Well, transition defense is not something that Dave Smart is happy about right now, and Chile is pumped up. They are within 2 against Canada. Stay with us, a short break. We'll be right back.
Now that's how to mop the floor quickly.
Has been a great start for Chile. They have gotten exactly what they wanted, both in transition, underneath the rim, getting it done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm impressed with their ability to finish off plays too. Right around the hoop. I mean, Lorca is a shot blocker. He looks like the blue Monstar from Space Jam. He's so long getting up there, but I'm really impressed with Lino's size around the rim finish. They're so patient. Canada's got to step up and get stops, and I guaranteed that timeout was a lot of defense coming out of Dave Smart's mouth, because your offense isn't always going to click, and that's okay. You can go in runs, but you can always play good defense.
Jacoby Neese pull-up jumper. He's not shot a great percentage in this tournament. I'm sure that makes him feel very good to see the first one go through.
That's a nice way to enter the game too. Hey guys, I'm here, ready to go, punched in.
Cash the Jimmy, get it started. There's the defense that Amy was asking for. Now in transition, Neath keeps it himself for two. This is a guy that when he plays with confidence, he can be very lethal on the offensive end, as Jacoby Neath. Oh, Joel Brown took a heavy pick there. Weza Panzo has just checked in and couldn't get a piece as Size gets it to go. Nemhard now. Probing the D, hands it off, gets it right back, pull up. Wow.
Oh, what a release. I mean, you've got to have your hand up. You've got to be contesting. It's not good enough just to stand in front of a shooter.
Averaging 21 points per game in this tournament is Andrew Nemhard, the captain, the leader, the pulse of this Team Canada squad. Nice crossover by Varela. Three's no good. Canada come out with it. Joel Brown lives in the open court, but he has it picked away. Back and forth, first quarter. I think we are getting just a taste of what we're going to see the rest of the tournament Thursday, Friday, and Saturday as we get into the meat and potatoes of this tournament. Amy, you're liking what you're seeing at a big number 15.
Yeah, I mean, look at that again, the authority. I'm a little bit surprised with the rotations or lack of from the Canadian defense, because their head coach is a defensive guy, and so that's going to make him cringe, because definitely absorbed from contact from up top, and you can't tell me Rubio has the foot speed advantage. You really can't. So this wasn't at the rim. Look, it's from outside the three. Hesitation, gets bumped. They paused it there, but continued through it, and they didn't rotate to help, and he finished with a scoop underhand.
Could not complete the three-point play. Neath comes back to help out. They got to get it over. That was just fractions of a second away from being an 8-second backcourt violation. Nyako.
Shot fakes, baby. I mean, again, and that's Nemhard, and your captain, your experienced captain, that's a mistake you don't expect him to make. And take a look at this rescreen. Misses the first, steps up and sets the second one. The skill set on this Chile team, they are really showing off some serious stuff right now.
And they fell asleep on the inbounds play in a collision between two Chileans. Neath on the other end, they got numbers. I don't know if Canada realizes that they have numbers right now, but Andrew Nemhard thought about it. Gets it back to Joel Brown. Hanzo back to Brown. Brown splashes down from range. Leads up to 6 with 15 seconds to go. Canada facing their biggest test yet.
This is a big stop right here for Canada. There you go.
And Nemhard comes up with the steal. He's got time, and he finishes the first quarter in style. 28-20 for Canada after the opening 10 minutes. Amy, that first quarter, considering how poorly Canada played on the defensive end on a couple of different times, they still come out with an 8-point lead.
You're right, and it was the end. It was a big stop at the end. Nemhard, and we're going to try to get that back, but kids pay attention. Time and score, kept his eyes up, didn't heave anything, got to the rim. That's that calming factor. Hey guys, calm down, we're okay. We're just going to come out and take care of business, but On a side note, AJ Lawson was taken back to the locker room for concussion protocol. They're going to assess him. So we'll keep an eye on that for you too. But nonetheless, 8-point lead and a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I mean, when so often, especially in FIBA basketball, when even after an inbounds off a made basket, it seems like players really push it too quick, and they'll rush a shot before the time is going to expire. And I think Andrew was very smart to be able to take it and finish with the layup, because the defense was not going to catch up to him.
Yeah, I mean, again, his eyes were on, maybe they look like they're on the basket, but right above the basket is the score clock. And I believe he was looking at the score clock, and you know how far you are. It's usually a second a dribble, right? 2 or 3 seconds, 2 or 3 dribbles, got right to the rim. That was big time.
Tyrese Samuel leading the way with 5 boards.
And we'll look at Nembhard. Hustle, shooting the gap, and look at his eyes. Look it up, 1, 2, 3, perfect finish. And then you see the red lights of the backboard. So, and you also see the red lights a little bit there with Dave Smart laying into his players, because 20 points a quarter is average for 80 a game, and that's not going to be acceptable, and that's not going to get Canada to a podium, and they all know that.
Yeah, I mean, almost in every aspect of defense, there was something there that this squad did not do right. There was an inbounds play where they fell asleep on communication. Transition defense was lacking a couple of times. Like you had mentioned, the lack of rotation on defense.
And there's your angle there from the officials themselves.
Neath, Panzo. Neath, ball fake, no good. Front rim and out. Chile, push it back the other way. Iñaco. Eight on the shot clock. Neath teeing up. Vrikin tried to defend the shot. Brown pulls it down. He is pushing every chance he gets. Vrikin, the shooter. Nope. Brown comes down with it. Back out top to Neath. Curious on where the offense is going to come from this group. A bunch of guys that haven't played a ton of offensive minutes. Joel Brown may be that guy, but couldn't score as he beat the shot clock. Carrasco on the wing. Iñaco.
And Vrikin called for that, trying to pitch through the screen and go over top of it. Almost got through, actually. I thought it was pretty solid defense, but a little too much contact from the eyes of the official.
Addison Patterson checks back in for Canada. Size. Nope. Patterson waiting for his teammates. Panzo, pull up. Not even close on that. And then Patterson picks up. Bad foul. See Jaden Bediako check back in. And it brings back some size, as does Chile. Rubio checking back in. Iñaco calling out the offense. Eckler. Nice take and finish. Felipe Iñaco. Joel Brown to Vrikin. Patterson was looking for the cutting Panzo. Bediako comes up to set the screen. Vrikin again, stripped by Rubio. Joel Brown is running back to try to catch up to him. Coming up empty. Patterson to Bediako. Addison Patterson with that behind-the-back dribble at full speed.
And that's how you get, even though they're up, it feels like they're down, and that's how you kind of get yourself into the game. You run, you reward the big man, get a layup, a lot of little things right.
Oh, great Euro step into the lane by Fabian Martinez. He's averaging under 5 minutes per game in this tournament, but showing no rust there. Brown to Panzo. Addison Patterson, so active, cutting off. I mean, he's used to being the guy on many of his teams, but when he can just kind of free safety it out there, he is something special.
Well, after his performance yesterday, you wouldn't think he'd free safety, but no one checked him on the rebound, and nice fly-in.
There he is with another rebound, just racking up the boards is Addison Patterson. A little chatter between Andres Beckler and Jaden Bediako, and Beckler's called for the foul as Emmanuel Miller and Andrew Nembhard check in. The two vets back for Canada, keeping an eye on the Canada bench to see if AJ Lawson makes his way back out. May have to wait for the second half to hear more on that. Patterson right in front of us. Brown into the corner, Andrew Nembhard, no good. Sorella. Asking for different screen to be set. Every screen on that end of the floor is heavy.
Chile's really locked into what they need to do. Again, it's a shot fake. Defender leaves his feet. One dribble pull-up.
Look at Addison Patterson setting the table for Emmanuel Miller. Leads at 8 for Canada, who are technically the guests in this game. Aired out, Joel Brown. Using that court vision to find Patterson back into the corner. Foul on the body, on the floor. Smart, not comfortable right now.
Yeah, not sitting in that big red chair right beside, not sitting in the comfy recliner at all. Although his team's just very talented, they're up, but the greatest coaches know you look at your own team, right, and how happy with what you're doing.
Chile getting after it on the glass. Set back, Emmanuel Miller sent him packing.
I know a couple college coaches. Well, we've got to look at the replay first. Nice lane, but the trail.
You know what I love about that? Addison Patterson didn't pick up a silly foul, ran past him almost like a screen, and he knew Emmanuel Miller was there to send it back.
I want to drop a Jack Armstrong, but I'm not sure. Get that garbage out of here. I mean, that's what it was, right? But Emmanuel Miller has 2 offers right now from Ohio State and Oklahoma. Elias from North Pole Hoops was chatting, and he's really on the ball with all these guys, and he was saying, you know, a lot of coaches were kind of interested, but no one really pursued him. All of a sudden, I was just talking to a couple of my friends coaching recruiting here yesterday, and they were shaking their heads because they said, well, we were kind of talking to him, but now everyone's going to be talking to him because of how big his stocks went up in his tournament. Obviously, you've mentioned the numbers he's done, but that's the play right there because it's defensive hustle when his team needs it the most, and he's all over the court. And probably the most benefited player from the last 2 or 3 games here at the tournament.
Absolutely. Be taking you right inside of the game. Getting you right on the court here, FIBA's YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us here at the FIBA U18 Americas Championship. Jason Tom here alongside Amy Audibert. We'll We'll be with you the rest of the way for all of Canada and Team USA's games after tomorrow's off day. Still a lot of game to be played here between Chile and the host, Team Canada.
That's such a smart pass from Marrero, who knew he was going into a lane against bigger, more athletic players, and he kicked it out and found a beautiful rhythm three.
That was Fabian Martinez again. Doubt he would have been high on the scouting report, played limited minutes in the first 2 games.
Yeah, wonderful hit, but the pass was just incredible. And they're so skilled. They're the first team that Canada's seen that really hasn't looked intimidated, taking it to them, not letting runs distract them.
Emmanuel Miller, another 2. Canada up 7. Spin to the baseline, no good. Getting tired of saying his name, Miller with the rebound. And Patterson the other way, silky smooth through the lane is Addison Patterson. Rubio. Martinez. D'd up by Patterson. Brown does get caught on that screen. Jaden Bediako couldn't come down with it.
And that's that unlucky tip, 3 seconds on the shot clock. And with short shot clocks, you couldn't ask for anything better if you're Chile, because now you're setting up a set for a quick hit that your team already knows. It's just a call and matter of executing.
Bunch of substitutions on both sides. Definite chess match going on here between the 2 coaches. This has a feel of a quarterfinal, semifinal.
Certainly does. Not getting the shot clock.
Shot clock violation, Team Canada takes over.
3:45 to go. You see the turnover battle, very close. Both teams started out a little sloppy, but tightened it up of late. Nemhard probing that defense. Steps through, can't get it to go, but he'll be headed to the line. Shoot 2.
I want to talk about efficiency. Last night, Nemhard played 13 whole minutes, and his stat line was 14 points, 3 rebounds, 9 assists, and 3 steals. So he went in and said, Coach Smart, I do what I got to do, keep my legs nice and fresh. And if the longer Canada can continue showing that production from one of their most valuable players, I'll say, the better.
I remember that game was getting out of hand midway through the third, and we saw him go to the bench and said, probably won't be seeing him again today, and that's led to his efficiency rating of 23, which is tops on Team Canada as they head into this timeout up 9. Again, we had mentioned that Chile won their first ever FIBA U18 South America Championships. And, you know, you're going down the roster, and so many guys that stepped up huge in that tournament. And, I mean, Ignacio Arroyo Varela with 16 points per game, and then 6.6 assists, 6.6 rebounds. I mean, he did everything in that South America Championship. And then, again, I know you mentioned him off the top, in this tournament, he's also doing it all, touching all points of the score sheet. Taking a look at Dave Smart, and just to his left is Connor Vreeken, who will be a Carleton Raven in a couple of years. But I think, considering Canada's still up 9, I think this is the perfect game for them heading in to the round starting up on Thursday, because they hadn't really been challenged. And I think this is something that will be good for them. At the same time, I mean, there's a lot of basketball to be played here, and if there's one team that can put a scare into Canada, we said it from the beginning, it was this squad right here in Chile. possession almost turned into 2. Tyrese Samuel almost caught an elbow. Back the other way, Patterson, nice drop off to Miller. That has worked a number of times. Emmanuel Miller, calm, cool, and collective. Another and one opportunity for the silent leader of this Team Canada squad.
And what are we calling him? We're calling him 3-man, not E-man, not Emmanuel. He's 3-man because, like you said, he uses his strength around the rim and he just powers through defensive players and soft touch.
And one thing he's shown me in this tournament too is that he does have a bit more range than I thought he did have. Something that has shown his evolution of his game as well. And look at the defense by 3-man. And it results in a turnover.
No, now he's D-man.
I gotta write all these down. 3-man, D-man, E-man, but they can't turn it into points. Andrew Nembhard, just another steal back the other way. And now we'll call him back to E-man. Emmanuel Miller, two-handed slam on the baseline off the Nembhard dime. Rubio back up top. Swing around. Rubio now gets himself some position. Drops it off. Look at the gang rebounding by Canada. They're doing work on the glass. Nembhard takes it right at the big man. Finishing with lefty off glass, pushing lead to 15.
It's small spurts, right? All of a sudden, it didn't take a whole lot of time to extend that lead, but it all starts with defense. That was a steal that led right into a dunk.
2:05 to go.
2 minutes, less than 2 minutes left.
Back to the big man who has been silent since the beginning of the game, but Maxwell Lorca-Lloyd comes through with the jam. Patterson goes behind the back. Bailed out with the foul call there.
And the Chile bench thought that was clean, thought that there was a lot of hands on the ball. At the same time, again, Addison Patterson did a great job of leaking out, and no one from Chile really identified him or followed him. And so it's almost too late when you have an athlete like Patterson with the momentum going to the rim.
So Emmanuel Miller gets a rest. They then push Weza Panzo to the 4 as Jacoby Neath checks into the game. Patterson gets to go, extending that Canadian lead. Half the shot clock is gone. Canada has kept them to the perimeter. Lorca-Lloyd got hit after the layup attempt, no call. Canada will have numbers if they push it, but there'll also be someone wide open if they turn it over. Nembhard, yeah, has it sent back. Solid defense there. Pimentel takes it into the body. Calling it a travel.
Yeah,
Knew the whistle was coming either by a foul or a travel.
Yeah, Addison Patterson did a great job of actually getting in front and squaring up. He didn't have his feet planted, or it probably would have been a charge call. There you go. Trying to get a little bit of an explanation from Rubio. That's about as close a look as we can give you.
Connor Vreeken back into the game with 1:06 to go here in the first half. Canada up 14. Still no sign of AJ Lawson on that Canadian bench. We'll try to update you at the beginning of the second half. Neath, a couple of ball fakes. Draws a foul, he'll go to the line. Once again, everybody has played for Canada in this game as Charles Bediako is now checked in as well. Not bad for Charles Bediako, who just turned 16. He's averaging 10 minutes per game in this tournament thus far.
It's the best way to learn and the best way to get better is to have these types of experiences. And because the first 2 games were big margins in the lead, Charles has been able to get in there. And even in the first game against Argentina, when brother Jaden went out, again, defense going to offense.
Nemhard steal and all kinds of anguish on the lefty layup. Rubio. Varela. Canada going to the zone. Nice move into the paint.
Yeah, these Chile players are really skilled in terms of making the right reads on the court. Varela has made some fantastic passes. He's fun to watch at that position.
Absolutely, it's a 15-point lead for Canada as Dave Smart calls a timeout to talk things over and draw something up. As they're up 15, want to have some positivity heading into the halftime, and I'm sure the team's going to want to go back and check in and see how A.J. Lawson is doing as he left this game with a concussion protocol after a scary incident underneath the rim. Fell off the rim, hit the back of his head. You know, we mentioned a couple of different times how injuries to players can really change the outlook of a tournament like this with so many games in such a short amount of time. I'm sure that day off tomorrow will be welcomed.
Lots of ice. This facility is actually also a hockey rink, so there's certainly ice close, and these guys are gonna, it doesn't matter if they played 10 minutes each or grinded around 3 games in 3 days. Physically and mentally, it's good just to take a deep breath. Obviously, they're gonna be scouting their quarterfinal matchup, but they're also gonna probably have the chance to go visit Niagara Falls. I know a lot of teams are gonna do that, so they get to incorporate that cultural, get out of the gym for even half a day.
I do see Lawson in the tunnel, so he is okay. He's watching the final seconds of this first half from the players' tunnel. Enzo inbounding right in front of us, finds Nemhard. That's the guy you want with the rock in his hand in the final seconds. Andrew Nemhard. Probing, driving, jumping and dropping. Andrew Nemhard has now finished off both quarters of this game with a last-second shot, living up to that cold-blooded mentality we've talked about. We call him the cooler. Canada with a 17-point lead at the break.
And that comes down to KYP, knowing your personnel. You have to know, late shot clock, late clock, keep the ball out of Nemhard's hands because he makes something happen.
I think that's what Canada's betting on, come double Nemhard and then have him find the open shooter. You see the percentages after the first half. So it's a 17-point lead for Canada, getting it done on the glass with some gang rebounding. 7 turnovers. You know head coach Dave Smart won't like that, but they are winning the turnover battle thus far. Look at Andrew Nemhard, 17 points in that first half.
And that's no surprise. Again, teams kind of struggled to score a little bit, especially in that first quarter, and he takes over and does what they need.
17 points, 6 assists, 4 steals. Andrew Nemhard doing it all, while Addison Patterson, that we've joked about being the free safety out there, leading the way in rebounds for Canada. And Emmanuel Miller just being Emmanuel Miller, right? Doing a little bit of everything, 10 points. Well, Jacoby Neath will also be important for this squad if A.J. Lawson is not available the rest of this game. 50-33 for Team Canada at halftime. Stay with us. We'll be back. Second half action and the final game of the group phase at the FIBA U18 Americas Championship.
Oh, definitely okay. Gosh, that's too much, too strong. Dunk it, baby! Mexico drive hard to the basket. Gatto. But Matt is there and he's denied by Justice.
Come on now.
Ball now into the hands of Hammond, feeds it into Benny with a two-handed hammer jam. Chile survived.
Now that's how to mop a floor quickly.
This crowd is going to be loud here. They really get behind the team.
World Cup qualifiers were meant to bring basketball home to the home nations.
Vargas drives in and scores. The party's on. Now Brasino flies in. Goes Howdy A. Carter on the putback. 4-on-1, back to Grath. Roll! Who goes in for the dunk? It's Scola. Scola. Wow. So in, and Samus Reyes flies in for the dunk.
That's what it means.
Great win for the Uruguayans.
Niagara, acres of vineyards and the award-winning wines of the Niagara College Teaching Winery. Craft beer from the Niagara College Teaching Brewery. Fresh farm-to-table cuisine from Benchmark Restaurant. Savor Canada's most unique learning experience at the internationally renowned Canadian Food and Wine Institute at Niagara College.
Welcome back to the FIBA U18 Americas Championship, where Canada has a 17-point lead. And I know you mentioned in the first half, Amy, it didn't feel like it was that big of a lead for Canada, but in that first half, they got things together in the second quarter.
Yeah, and it started with their defense. You're going to get a look at Chile, who's been fantastic finishing around the rim and driving. But there's the young man right there, Andrew Nemhard, who for some reason Chile did not pick up on a lot of possessions, left him wide open. He had 3 threes, 9 points from beyond the three-point line. Nice hustle from Patterson in the back. And so both teams really showed their stuff. Defense to offense, of course, that was to finish the quarter off there, and that was a smart play. And here was the big, that was the monster block from D-Man Miller that time. And so it has been a fun first half in terms of teams kind of just battling back and forth. Canada's just shot more shots. Both are shooting in the 40s, but Canada's taken 10 more shots, and they've out-rebounded Chile 30-19, and that includes 16 offensive rebounds for Canada. Those are second chance points. They're just more time, draw fouls, run possessions, and burn some clock. So Chile's really got to limit those second chance opportunities for Canada.
And I found it on the two-handed jam. It shouldn't have been three-man or D-man. It should have been Mean Man.
Oh, Mean Man. Yeah.
Mean Man Miller.
We got to write these down. He's going to have like split personalities.
And before the second half gets underway, we have a special guest on the sidelines as Anthony Gallo is ready with assistant coach Jamie McNeely.
Coach McNeely, Chile's hanging around a little bit, maybe a little too close for comfort. What are you guys going to do in the second half to close them out?
Well, I think technically we did a pretty good job. We just have to make sure we're playing a little harder. We need to play a little tougher. We need to be the aggressor a little more, and I think the guys get that. So.
And what's the key to your guys' success moving forward, ultimately to capture gold on home soil?
Yeah, we just have to keep getting better every single day. Every film session, every quarter is a chance for us to get better. We know we're not where we want to be yet, and we need to get there. So it's all about just every guy on the team learning from all these little situations we're in right now.
And I see AJ's back on the bench after a hard fall in the first quarter. Any update on him?
Not sure yet. Doc's checked him out. We don't know if he's going to come in this half. They say questionable right now. So,
thanks, Coach. Good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thank you.
Amy, Jason, back to you.
Thank you, Anthony. Good news that AJ Lawson is back on the bench. He just laughed off that hard fall, but they want to be safe about it, obviously. And I would be remiss to not mention that Jamie McNeil is an assistant coach with Virginia Tech under Buzz Williams down there, and definitely one of the up-and-coming coaches in Canada as well.
Yeah, he's earning his stripes under Buzz Williams, but also had opportunities at Marquette. He played pro, played his college career at University of New Orleans in the Sun Belt under Buzz Williams his senior year. In his senior year, he averaged 38 minutes a game. So when you want to talk about a first-year coach coming in and trusting a player to play him 38 minutes a game, you see how fired up Jamie McNeely is. Something tells me he wants to put on some shoes and some shorts and go play too, because he talked about being the aggressor first. And so here you go, see if they can punch first right now.
You're taking a look at some of the scouts in attendance, taking a look at some Canadian talent as well. Mike Menega is hidden behind there, and he is a large part of the Canadian pipeline. And then Frank Martin, who's here seeing a couple different players, including AJ Lawson. I'm sure he was very scared to see him go down, because AJ took an official visit there.
And he's also probably licking his chops because he has a signee committed already in Alonzo Frink from the Dominican Republic, who's been eating people up in the paint in the morning games for breakfast and in the evening games for dinner. And I'm excited to follow his college career.
Tons of scouts in attendance. We also obviously have NBA scouts in attendance as well. So you don't have any excuse to get down here unless you're not in the area. We know that we're being broadcast worldwide, but if you are in the area, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday is a time to roll through. About to tip off the third quarter.
Chile was trailing their first game against Ecuador in the first half, and came out, only gave up 21 points in the second half. And so that's something they've done. They went to the locker room and regrouped before, and they've locked down on defense. It's a little bit tougher against this highly talented Canadian team. We'll see what they can come up with.
So Chile is stuck 17 to start the third quarter. They go to their big man, no surprise there. Jaden Bediako sends it back. In transition, Andrew Nemhard, calm and easy two.
And there was like 4 hands in the air there from Canada. I'm not sure who the pass was directed to, but one of them's got to take it.
Yako. This would be what is needed on this end of the floor, some threes to cut into this Canadian lead. Patterson down low to Bediako. They would like to get the big man some feel-good moments here.
And Dave Smart clapping his hands because it was a one-on-one and it was the right read, and that's what they need to get from Jaden Bediako. They need to get him touches and get him some confidence.
Bediako called for the foul.
2 shots, guys, 2 shots.
Lorca Lloyd going to the line.
Team Canada foul called on number 5, Emmanuel Miller, at the line for Team Chile.
Lorca had a solid first half. He went 4 for 8 from the field. 8 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 blocks in the first half. That's a game stat for a lot of people. But I think they still got to keep going to him and get him more touches. 4 for 8, I mean, that's a nice percentage, but I think they just got to keep going to him. That's not his thing. Free throws.
I think somebody opened a door down here in St. Catharines. Gust of wind pushed that one. Joel Brown. back to Nemhard. This was the starting backcourt for Canada in game number 1. Nemhard and Brown together. They've had to change things up with AJ Lawson not on the floor. And there's Miller cleaning it up. He's up to 20.
You see how high Arrero has to come to get the ball, almost at half court, taking him away from the hoop.
Yako, no good. Miller pulls it down. Nemhard, back to Miller. No good. Addison Patterson trying to get up to throw down, but couldn't get it back. Beniaco bothered the shot, comes down with the board. Off the shoulder, Brown, look away dish. Beniaco tips it in.
See the pressure of Joel Brown really flustering Arroyo. He almost pushed off.
11 on the shot clock as Chile retains possession. Rubio, Varela, looking possibly on the pick and roll, but Joel Brown's picking pockets instead. Emmanuel Miller hanging, banging, and there's three-man.
Three-man came out early to play in the second half. Again, he runs with this intensity.
Nice dish from Addison Patterson, who's shown you something more and something better every game and every day. You know what I love about Emmanuel Miller, man? His facial expression does not change. Nemhard hustles back on D. Push on Bediaco.
Yeah, it's tough for him to go out there and try and with the foot speed advantage. Doesn't have the foot speed advantage, so the right read from Chile to try to beat him off the dribble.
Joel Brown comes out of the game for Jacoby Neath. Airs it out. Nemhard to Miller. Bediaco's asking for it. Entry pass from Neath. Looking back out for Nemhard. Patterson's open on the wing, but they drop it back off for Bediaco. No good. Trying to get after it. Size. Just rolls it in, just willed that one through. Bediaco battling. All kinds of contact. Patterson's asking for that big screen. Dribbles away from it. Foul called. Canada will get it with the shot clock at 14. Bediaco and Patterson pulled off the floor. Not a lot happening in the half court for Canada the last couple of times down the floor.
No, and I think Nemhard's got to be the one to continue to keep the ball in his hand, and that time it was Patterson trying to call for the ball screen, didn't get the angle on it.
Kobe Neath is having a feel-good game right now.
I think he's lucky that one went in because there was still 12 seconds on the shot clock. Talking about trying to work some rhythm in the half-court offense there, but he made it. If you're going to take that shot, you got to make it.
It's just very interesting to see, you know, I think he came in shooting under 30% through the first two games, hit his first shot, now seems to kind of have a bit more of a flow, which is extremely important if they're going to be without AJ Lawson for any amount of time. This is a team that came in with not an awful lot of shooting when you're talking about Team Canada, and AJ Lawson was one of those guys who could get it going. So Neath is going to have to fill some of those minutes. working his way into the lane, kicks back out. Varela, defensive rebound.
And you can live with that pass because Nemhard gets the key and he tracks so many players, and it's a nice dish out. That's a decent shot. That's all right.
Into traffic. All kinds of steps, drag the pivot foot. Pick your travel. Oh, Andrew Nemhard has such great court vision. Couldn't be finished off right there, but that left-handed bullet pass. Foul called. Canada getting close to the bonus now, and we're just over the midway point of the third quarter. They've slowly but surely added to this lead. They've held Chile to just 3 points through the first half of this third quarter.
And you had to kind of expect that coming out of the locker room. Going back to Dave Smart, being that defensive-minded coach, a little bit of a sticky first half at times for Canada. And so, yeah, coming out and locking down, that was big time for the team.
Joel Brown, push it. Inviting contact, and he'll go to the line to shoot two.
And Joel Brown trying to split two defenders, kind of got caught in the middle.
At the line, shooting two, Joel Brown.
Joel says he models his game after Chris Paul or Rondo, likes that type of guard.
Joel Brown is another one of those guys that has went through a lot in his few years. His brother Samuel passed away back on February 9th. And his brother was born with disabilities, and it was something that I think helped Joel mature at a young age. And again, we've talked about it before and talking about Andrew Nemhard, but talking about perspective. I think every time Joel Brown takes the floor, he understands just how blessed he is to have that opportunity. And I know he takes his brother's memory with him every time he does get onto the hardwood. Many times has him written on his shoes. And you can see it in the way that he plays. Never too high, never too low. It's Joel Brown.
But extremely intense.
Yako. Rainmaker three over top of Jacoby Neath. Neath saves it from going out of bounds. Wow. Talking about confidence.
When you're feeling it, you are feeling it. I mean, he's taking some threes that might seem ill-advised, but he keeps putting them down, so what can you do?
Like I said, if AJ Lawson's out for any amount of time, Canada needed someone else to step up. So I think the coaching staff will be happy to see when they look down at that score sheet and see that Jacoby Neath has reached double figures in the point category. Bediako and Freakin check back in. The younger Bediako brother, Charles. Chile is definitely not helping themselves in this third quarter.
Yeah, they've only been able to put away 3 points, and when you're playing a team like Canada, you certainly have to, they're going to find ways to score eventually, Canada. You've got to continue to go on that high clip with them. So that would be their 4th point of the third quarter.
Freakin no good. Bediako tried to save it off the defender, but he stepped out of bounds.
And Dave Smart signaling for the diamond and one pressure defense. You've got to run it. You put the new players in, like you said, Breakin and Charles Bediako. They've got to run through these sets too.
Brown with the steal, and Bediako finishes it off. Chile wants to talk it over. 3:32 to go here in the third quarter. Stay with us. We'll be back to St. Catharines after a short break.
Now that's how to mop a floor quickly.
Chile down 27. Canada has been able to weather a bit of an issue, and you see just to the right of that camera angle right there, AJ Lawson back with his team. Sure, we won't see him back in this game. Not really needed, but it's good to know that AJ is okay.
Not quite okay with that diamond and one pressure was Chile. That was a really easy bucket for Canada in terms of they worked hard to get it, but it was a good finish, nice and solid. You're gonna see it again, and Chile, that's a tough place to inbound the ball, right in the corner and into a trap. That ball has to go in the middle and up.
Half the shot clock is gone. And that's picked off by the 8'1" wingspan of Tyrese Samuel. And look at Joel Brown. Joel Brown lives in the open court.
So many times in the last 2 or 3 days have we seen Joel with that going to the rim until someone steps up, until I see shoulders square. And he's not scared of contact, and he's really crafty with his finishes, and he had a couple and ones.
Class of 2019 is Joel Brown.
Does a great job taking the contact in his shoulder and doesn't affect his hands on the finish.
Team Canada trapping. Carrasco loses it, gets it back. Gonna put it up. Made points out of nothing right there. Brown, pass is picked off. Yako back the other way. They turn that into two.
You just look at the bench with Maxwell Lorca, and are they resting him now because they feel like this is out of reach?
Just when it comes down to it, they know they're going to have to go through Team USA to get to the gold medal final, so you might as well have a well-rested.
Look at Lawson.
And AJ again beside Giovanni Scott.
Same type of, maybe just trying to rest, knowing what's coming up. But with Maxwell Lorca, if he's healthy, I'm still maybe going for a minute or 2 minute reps just to kind of get in the game and still keep your juices flowing a little bit.
From range, no good. Breakin pulls down the rebound. Push for Canada, almost lost it. There's a Panzo. Has it knocked away, Canada will retain. They'll have 14 to work with on the shot clock as we're under 2 minutes left here in the third quarter. The final game of the group stage. Rican from range, no good. Samuel tries to poke it away, but Chile holds on to it, Carrasco. Joel Brown closed out, but lost his man. Didn't result in points. Brown bounce pass to Vreekin. Called for the travel, shuffled his feet.
Yeah, and that's an example there of Vreekin wanting to make the extra pass and do the right thing. At the same time, I think he's going to be a pretty solid shooter for Carleton in 2 years when he starts there. And so maybe that's a nice transition 3 look. Fine line of taking that or just trying to make the coach happy and earn the respect of your teammates too.
Emmanuel Miller's just checked back in for Team Canada.
Woo!
It's all right, I had it. I was on it, I was open. I would have dropped the dime your way though, just so you know.
Thank you. I could have had my 3-man moment.
Emmanuel Miller comes off the bench, gets in to the foxhole, and drops 2 off the rebound. It's Reeb man. All right, we're pushing it now. 42 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Carrasco. You hear Dave Smart calling out horns.
And you can see the double screens already moving up there. When you give a player like Joel Brown options off of either way, a little bit dangerous for defenders.
And he finds a wide open Weza Panzo. He hasn't had his shot going today, but still hustles to clean up the mess.
And Dave Smart clapping his hands. Good execution, got the look, and a nice finish.
2 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Varela beat the buzzer, but couldn't get it to go. It's a 30-point lead for Canada. It does not feel like it's that type of advantage right now, but Canada in control through 30 minutes here at the end of the group phase. Reminder, tomorrow is an off day for all teams, leading into quarterfinals on Thursday, semis on Friday, and then championship Saturday. There'll be some big-time nightcap games on all 3 of those days. Nemhard, a quiet 3rd quarter, but Emmanuel Miller added to his point total, and you see Jacoby Neath reaching double figures in the points category for the first time in this tournament, taking some minutes in exchange for A.J. Lawson.
Taking some minutes and taking some deep threes, some big shots, and putting them down.
You see Nemhard approaching a double-double in points and assists. Don't know how much more we're going to see of him. Dave Smart has been so smart with his minute distribution, with 10 players averaging 10 minutes or more, and only 1 player over 25 minutes a game, and that's Emmanuel Miller. And with a 30-point lead, be interesting to see who gets minutes in this 4th quarter. If there's anybody that Dave Smart wants to get out, some great plus minuses on Team Canada's side of things.
Canada has to also be impressed in that they want to play with a high pace. They want to run and gun. They've taken 20 more shots than Chile. They've taken 72 attempts and Chile 52. So they've continued to push the ball. Now a lot of that's also because they've also picked up 20 offensive rebounds out of their 47. So almost half their rebounds have been on the offensive end. Again, that's an adjustment that Chile had to make at halftime and didn't quite come up with it.
47 rebounds through 3 quarters for Team Canada.
You see Vreekin, you see the mentality. Instead of letting that ball go out, they want to take it and run. He makes the extra effort to initiate an offense.
I just saw Emmanuel Miller make a mistake. He's taken 3 games. Ill-advised pass there resulted in a turnover. Brown. Panzo. Miller. Back to Panzo. Call for a foul on the body. Panzo was bumped.
Team Chile foul, call number 6, Carlos Villagran.
Well, you heard Jamie McNeely say at halftime, it's all about finding ways to get better. You don't look up and you don't look at the scoreboard and you don't say we're up 30 in the fourth quarter. It's how can we get better? The goal in mind is a podium. The goal in mind is a medal, a gold, a silver, a bronze, but anything less than a gold or silver would be considered a disappointment to Canada.
And they are on the path that they wanted to be on. Just 9 minutes away now from going 3-0 in the group stage.
But all that being said, you can guarantee they're going to look at that first quarter, especially Dave Smart, and say, hey, the later we get into the tournament, that's not going to cut it because you guys are maybe just a little bit more talented or bigger or got some things to fall against better teams. You don't have that luxury anymore. And so, again, how can we get better every day and every game and every quarter? And that's how you have to break it down. Looking at a 9-time National Coach of the Year in Dave Smart. That's a record, and that's amazing. 9 times he's been given that award.
He's had opportunities to take NCAA jobs.
I'm sure his phone bill goes up a little bit every March, April. But at the same time, you respect the guy because of what he's built at Carleton, making decisions for his family. And
I think the thing that's been overlooked, because for a while there with Carleton, with that dynasty, people were saying, well, is this good for formerly CIS, currently U Sports? But what we see now, what that has done has raised the level of so many other teams in Ontario and across Canada at the U Sports level, and we see it time and time again. West Coast, East Coast, Prairies. We said, Calgary has just won a national championship this past year. That doesn't happen if Carleton doesn't exist.
It's almost like you look at the UConn in women's basketball. Unbeatable for years, but you've seen other teams now almost build their programs to catch UConn, and just like you're seeing on this side to catch Carleton. And it's not that UConn or Carleton have dropped. Other teams have really just rose up and they've started to catch up, and it's not a whole lot of teams, but there is some parity at the top now.
That women's Final Four in the NCAA was some of the best basketball that I saw all year.
Every single game was every possession. It was the most beautiful thing. I was so proud for the sport.
And for the first time shown up here in Canada.
Yeah, which was, hello, thank you.
Exactly.
And it was thanks to the women for doing that, because I mean, it is good basketball.
So many of our Canadian women now in the NCAA as well, and the WNBA. What a great pass from Joel Brown. I was saying flash with substance, and that's what he does.
And Charles Bediako too. You look at his body standing out there, and the word that all I can think of is ceiling.
Yeah.
Where is it? Because, I mean, you can't buy that. You can't train for that. That's a nice, just patient, collect. And while I'm sure there's some pessimists sitting at home going, oh, it's easy, it's just a layup. It's patience, and it's a finish, and it's a touch, and it's the right read. And very young player with
You'll be hearing the name Charles Bediako when it comes to the U17 World Cup upcoming in Argentina. Some nice passing in transition by Chile. Look at Joel Brown dancing on him, pulls it back out. Addison Patterson. Addison Patterson has been, I haven't done anything for a couple of quarters. I think it's time for me to attack the rack.
Well, you're surrounded by so many options, and again, with the style they play where they run and they're getting up and down the court, you might go for a stretch where you're not touching the ball, but like you said yesterday, he went on a 13-0 run himself. So he's going to pick and get moments to kind of shine, and you don't want to have to be the guy that shines for 40 minutes or even 30 minutes. You want to be able to kind of get in and get out.
And he's another guy who's going to, look at that stat line, 7, 7, and 5. Just a nice, quiet, touching all columns of the score sheet, but Patterson's going to be another guy that starts for Canada at the U17 World Cup, using this experience to bring forth there. And being able to use this experience to grow himself as a player, I mean, this is only going to add to, you want to talk about ceiling, Addison Patterson. Where is that ceiling? Wherever it is, he's going to leap up and touch it and probably throw down, catch a body on the way. Joel Brown with the ball fake. Emmanuel Miller couldn't finish.
You see Dave Smart clapping his hands, but not the offense, for them to snap back into their defense. He wants, hey, it's a fun finish on the other end, but guys, you got to snap right back into defense, and that's challenging for a coach to keep that intensity and mentality up in games like this. And really, Canada's been here the fourth quarter every game almost in these types of margins.
Emmanuel Miller is going to be upset that the last opportunity he has in this game most likely is him missing a dunk.
Well, maybe Dave Smart took him out on purpose. Sleep on that for 2 days.
Exactly. I want you to go to bed angry for the next 2 nights and take it out on whoever we face in the quarters. Oh, Joe Brown passed it to no one, and Dave Smart wants a timeout. 6:47 to go here. Canada still in control. Still a lot of time left in this one, some things to work on. Stay with us. We'll be back to St. Catharines after a short break at the FIBA U18 Americas Championship.
Now that's how to mop the floor quickly.
Back inside the huddle with Dave Smart, using every opportunity he can. He knows that practice time is going to be limited as they get into the meat and potatoes of this tournament starting on Thursday.
Well, you saw a couple offensive possessions for Canada where the one finished with a dunk, but it was a bit of a scramble, and the last turnover from Joel Brown. So things get a little bit out of control and look a little bit crazy. So he does the right thing and calls the timeout. Again, reining the guys in, showing them some short-term things that they want to accomplish.
I'm sure he wants to see some of these combinations as well. Got Joel Brown out there with Jacoby Neath. 2 interchangeable guards, really. And then you have Addison Patterson, the just turned 17-year-old, while Weza Panzo is playing the 4. And then Jaden Bediako trying to get some positive minutes under his belt after a 3-game stretch where he's struggled at times. Neath pulls it back out. Brown slicing, dicing. Hits the ground hard.
And this is the one thing that, if you're Dave Smart, you're a little bit nervous. You want your guys to continue to go hard, but you want them to be smart too, because the last thing you want is any guy to go down injured. You've already saw AJ Lawson. That was on a 1-on-0 dunk, and it's a good sign that he's on the bench and looks okay, because that could have had some serious repercussions.
Brown missed them both. I think he came down that elbow a little bit.
That's going to be 22 offensive rebounds for Canada.
Chile turning it into points. You can tell. In transition. Panzo. A lot of length from Weza Panzo when he gets in the lane and gets within striking distance.
Yeah, again, nice, easy read. It's nice to see when they're not overcomplicating and going crazy and having too much fun, just doing the right thing and doing it well.
Chile right now is doing a lot of things well, executing. I think their coach would be happy to see that at least, despite the score. There's Neath taking it to the lane. After doing a lot of damage from range, Neath taking it to the rim.
Strong and bouncy.
That is one thing about Jacoby Neath. He has an awful lot of bounce.
It would be nice to see Canada right now feed it inside to Biako and let him kind of work a bit. He went one-on-one but had to kick it out because the spacing was a little too tight. And there's a big offensive rebound there for him and put back. But if he's on the court, get him going. Get him touches, get him comfortable. Chile's going one-on-one with him. They're standing behind him, and I think they got to get him some reps.
Size. Back out, Rubio. Tyrese Samuel had poked it away. It went off Rubio and out of bounds, so Canada gets it back with 4:32 to go in the final quarter of group play action. Panzo has it slotted away. Chile gets the rock back, bringing in some reinforcements to get some minutes under their belt. Pimentel looking for the screen. Keeps himself, forces it up, no good. Bediako, defensive rebound. Neath turns it up court, working on Pimentel. Oh, I think he wanted to pass it and then realized how open he was. Dane Bediako getting some putbacks here late in the game.
And this is very good for Canada. Just putting the ball in his hands and getting him comfortable in live action, making those plays.
Nice move. Addison Patterson off the Bediako screen. Patterson pull up, no good. There's Bediako getting after it on the glass. Hits the floor. It's helped up by his opponent. And now Patterson checks out. Connor Vreeken comes back into the game.
At the line, shooting two is Jaden Bediako.
Giovanni Scott gets his first minutes of this game, checking in for Jaden Bediako. Canada going small. Martinez spins, is cut off, goes back to it, no good. Neath. Samuel. Ooh, slips. Very Samuel front rim. 2:30 to go. You hear Here was Panzo asking for people to call screens out. Neath did just that. Neath giving up all kinds of size there. Mismatch down low. Nice defense there by Size. Little screen like in football there would have been called, would have been whistled, flag on the play.
As we've seen a lot of these games kind of really open up, especially in the second half. We've been calling a lot of Canadian games and the USA games. What I will say is that the teams that are falling victim to these beasts are going hard right till the end.
Yeah.
I can't think of a team that looked like with their body language, they just all completely gave up across the board. And they have to be commended for that. It's not easy, but at the same time, it also shows a bit of maturity in that they understand this is not the end of the tournament here. Every team walks out of this gym on Saturday with a place, 1 through 8, and they're going to continue to fight for those rankings.
Take a look at the Team Canada coaching staff. Mike Meeks, Chris Chang, Davey McNeely. And Yako has to pick up his dribble, runs into trouble. Turnover, Vreekin back the other way. Foul called on Carlos Villagran.
Chile foul on number 6, Carlos Villagran. Connor Vreekin, shooting 2.
Vreekin at the line.
Laugh because Vreekin's a nice shooter, wants to study kinesiology in university, so I think he knows a bit about mechanics.
A Dave Smart kind of guy. And Yako pulled down by Panzo. Canada's still battling on the glass. Foul called on Chile.
Well, Jacoby Neath, you saw him really try to get after that ball. He's having a night. I think he'd like to play another quarter.
Yeah. It's important right now for everybody on that Canadian bench to have some positive vibes individually. I think it's there as a team. I think they all feel like they're on pace to where they wanted to be, but individually to make sure each player feels like they're where they want to be.
And having that day with no games tomorrow really helps that, because they'll get in the gym, they'll probably not have a full-out practice, but they'll get the ball in there. So they get to work on those things they really need to clean up, but it's mentally you get to take that small little break to get out of your group and then really refocus on that more of a playoff type mentality.
Yako. Neath comes up with a loose ball. Pretty much identical shot clock, game clock. I think Canada will be able to dribble this one out.
It's going to be hard for me. What's one more?
Nice ovation from the home crowd here for Team Canada as they hold true to form to go 3-0 in the group stage. 97-60 your final. Good crowd here for the Chileans as well.
And a team that, credit to Chile, who really came out and challenged Canada out of the gate from the opening tip. And for Canada, they responded, they stuck with it, and they got through this one really nicely.
They're announcing right now the 6 and 8 o'clock games for Thursday. USA will be up at 6 as they take on the 4th place team. Another crossover group, and then Canada will be on at 8:15. Look at the glass domination by Canada.
Well, and you just saw the Chile team also rallying. Hey, all right, let's move forward. We got work to do.
Andrew Nemhard, quiet second half. I think he had 17 and 6 at the break, and he finished with 19 and 7. And you know, we're talking about having a feel-good game for Jaden Bediako. He ended up with 12 boards in the game as well.
And you know what? If Nemhard has a quiet second half and you win by 37, that's a good thing. That means he didn't have to do it, because out of all the great things he's done in the last 2 days, I'd say the most important is that he stepped up whenever his team has needed him to do something. And so if they don't need him and they can win by 37, I mean, he's well rested now going into the games that really count, the quarters, the semis, and hopefully for them, the gold medal game.
That was Nemhard, Miller, and Neath ended up accounting for half of Canada's points. And after a short break, we'll be back with the young gun for Team Canada, Addison Patterson.
Now that's how to mop the floor quickly.
Wrapping up things from the final game of the group stage, and we have Addison Patterson waiting for us, and take it away in the bowels of the arena.
Yeah,
Addison, congratulations on the win. You really showed your full game tonight, 8, 7, and 5. Do you really pride yourself on being an all-around player?
Yeah, most people know me as just like a high-level scorer, and some people think I lack on defense and rebounding and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to prove everyone that I could do everything.
Being one of the younger players on this team, what have you learned from some of the veterans and the older players?
I think playing with Andrew and E-Man is really helping me, developing me to be more mature and you know, handle different styles of coaching and different team cultures. So you know, Andrew and E-Man have helped me a lot.
And what's the key to success for you guys moving forward to be able to capture gold on home soil? And what would that mean to you?
We just got to play together as we've been for the last 3 games. Just play for each other, not for ourselves. Play for our country, and that would mean everything to us. Just to bring a gold back to Canada again.
Thank you for your time. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
That's Addison Patterson of Team Canada. He's been great through the first couple of games. Any final thoughts, Amy?
Oh, again, it goes to the balance. 12 guys score, and no one's played more than 24.5 minutes, and that's what you need going into the playoff-type rounds now.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we'll be back with you. Signing off for everyone here for Niagara College. This is Jason Tom for Amy Audibert. We will see you Thursday as things start to get exciting in St. Catharines.